The NBA 2022-23 season is going on in full swing. With some teams and players making more of an impact than others, it's natural that the losing sides have been facing some harsh criticism. Ben Simmons, who was eager to make a comeback, hasn't been performing up to par and was exposed in his comeback game. So sit back as we discuss this and the Stars' reaction to getting fouled. First up, the not-so-ideal comeback for the Nets star. Ben's much-hyped return to the NBA hasn't gone as planned so far, as the former All-Star from Australia gets used to playing against star players again. Even though the Brooklyn Nets were thought to be title contenders, after a rough offseason in which star player Kevin Durant asked for a trade, or for head coach Steve Nash and general manager Sean Marks to be fired, they've had a rough start to the season. In their first game, they lost at home to the New Orleans Pelicans. After beating the Toronto Raptors, they felt better, but in their third game, the Memphis Grizzlies ran them off the court. He scored 14 points and picked up an eye-popping 17 fouls in the first 3 games. No one was expecting much from Simmons' scoring, but many had hoped that his defense would help the Nets win games. Instead, he's often had trouble staying on the court because he's gotten too many fouls. Moving on, what do the analysts think of Simmons' performance? Some of the poor plays, Steve Nash says, are because he is rusty, because he hasn't played in the NBA for over 18 months. However, some observers have more serious worries. Doug Norrie, a basketball expert, said that the Nets cannot win if Simmons keeps going the way he is, especially if he can't stay out of foul trouble. Let's just say it like this: everything has been bad. With these fouls, the mental part isn't there, Norrie said on the Locked On Nets podcast. He also said, if these are the numbers the team is going to put up, they can't win. Along with this, he said that the Nets suffered a lot when he was on the field. Simmons had 7 points, 8 assists, and 3 rebounds against the Grizzlies. He also had 5 turnovers and fouled out of the game. Fans, meanwhile, had doubts about whether Ben could get back to his all-star level. Next, concerns emerged for the star after the Nets' loss. He's had trouble moving screens at the beginning of the season. He's picked up a lot of unnecessary fouls while trying to get his teammate open on the offensive end. Adam Armbrecht, who hosts the Locked On Nets show, said Simmons' defensive potential was unquestionable, but he had to make sure he could play every minute of every game. So cheap fouls on offense were the worst thing you could do. Armbrecht said there was no doubt about Ben's aggressiveness and the way he can change a game defensively, but his poor judgment and the fact that he has 5 fouls are still the biggest problems. Armbrecht also said that the player has done these moving screen fouls repeatedly. He fouled out with just under 4 minutes left. This was the second game this season that he didn't finish. At halftime, Memphis guard Ja Morant had the most points of anyone with 24. The home team was behind 69-64. He and Desmond Bane both finished with 38 points. Bane made 14 of 21 shots and 8 of 11 from three-point range. The game was close until Memphis went on a 17-2 run early in the third quarter. They won the game 45-28. Following up, his last team wasn't too happy with his performance either. Ben Simmons has said something shocking about his nasty breakup with the Philadelphia 76ers and his relationship with Joel Embiid, which shows that the team did not like the star. Simmons and Embiid were 2 of Philadelphia's best players, and many people thought they could help the Sixers win an NBA title. Before the Sixers were knocked out of the NBA playoffs in the second round in 2021, they did well together. Ben got most of the blame for the Sixers' loss, though. In the heartbreaking Game 7 loss to Atlanta, the Aussie missed a wide-open dunk that would have tied the game. The player was hurt when Embiid and coach Doc Rivers blamed him for Philadelphia's early exit from the playoffs. He didn't play for the Sixers the next season, which made Embiid upset. He had refused to train with the team at first, and then he took a break from the game for his mental health. The Australian star who wanted to leave was eventually traded to the Brooklyn Nets in a deal that sent James Harden to the Philadelphia 76ers. Ben talked about his time with the Philadelphia 76ers this week, just before he played his first NBA game since the end of the 2020-21 season with the Nets. In a brutal acknowledgement of his ugly split from the Sixers and his friendship with his former teammate Embiid, the Aussie star said that he and Embiid never really spoke. Moreover, the player's reaction to being fouled out. Ben was furious after fouling out for the second time in 3 games this season. His return to the NBA with the Brooklyn Nets has been rough so far this year. He was upset that the 6th foul, which ended his night, was called against him. With just under 4 minutes left in the Nets' 134-124 loss to the Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant let the ball roll up the court before picking it up and waiting for Ben Simmons to come to him. He was taken out of the game when he went after Morant and hit him. The whistle went off and Simmons was sent to the bench. After the game was over and he saw what happened, happened, the Australian said he didn't understand why he was called for a foul and that the referee hadn't told him. After watching the replay, the Australian said that wasn't a foul and that the referee made a mistake. The star said that this is the NBA, not high school or college basketball, and that it's okay for some players to get hit and bleed. Morant, on the other hand, said that he had tried to get Simmons to foul, even though he knew that he would end Simmons' night. He said that he had a similar situation with Ben in his first year with the 76ers. Morant then said that he knew the player would press up and try to get the ref to call a foul. In addition, Steve Nash thinks Simmons' struggles are understandable. The 26-year-old didn't play at all last year because he had a fight with his old team, the Philadelphia 76ers. He also said that his absence was because of his mental health. He was then traded to the Nets in February, but because of a back injury, he didn't play until the start of this season. The former #1 overall pick is still getting used to being back in the NBA. On Monday night, he played 28 minutes and had 7 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds, a steal, and 5 turnovers. Steve Nash, the coach of the Nets, said that Simmons' struggles were understandable after he had been away for so long. Nash said that the player is having trouble because he hasn't played basketball in a while. He also said that the player is just trying to remember how the game is played at the moment. Since it's been 18 months since he last played, it is very hard for him to play perfectly right now. The Grizzlies won because Morant and Desmond Bane each scored 38 points. The Grizzlies guards' 76 points were the most ever scored by a pair of players in the team's history. Kevin Durant, a star for the Nets, said that Memphis made 16 three-point shots in the game, and Bane and Morant made 12 of them. The Nets made 9 of 29 shots from beyond the three-point line. Durant said that the three-point line made each team different. In the end, Memphis had more three-pointers than the Nets, which was the key to their win. Lastly, Kyrie Irving's message for the star after an unimpressive debut. Ben Simmons played his first regular season game with the Nets on Wednesday night, but it wasn't the best start to his new home. He only had 4 points by the end of the game because he fouled out. After the game, Kyrie Irving was asked what the team could do to get him more involved early in a game. Kyrie said that the fellow star needs more reps and more playing time. He also said that in the locker room, the team told him that he was important to the win, so the star shouldn't foul. Irving also said that the team wants to play aggressively, but it should do so in a smart way. He was also glad that the players could keep each other in check in the locker room. He only took 3 shots all night, and the Pelicans won by a score of 130 to 108 without much trouble. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think the star will be able to prove himself this season? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.